I'd like to welcome you to the show, to the show, to the show. Introduce you to me, introduce you to me. Hope you like what you see, baby. Hope you like what you see. I would like to welcome you to the show, to the show, to the show. Introduce you to me, introduce you to me. Give me something to talk about, talk about. I'd like to thank you all for coming out tonight. You're looking so nice. Hey, we shining bright. I would like to sing for you a couple songs that I wrote, but let me clear my throat so I could give you something different than I did.
What's happening, everybody? Welcome to Living Room TRT, and I am your host, Big Ran, along with my homeboy, Tony Tone in the house.
Good evening, people. Good evening.
I know I couldn't even turn down the music fast enough to even introduce myself. I know. I don't know what's going on. What's that? Man, I'm sorry.
The stiffness kind of set in. It's all right. Everybody know,
Welcome to Living Room TRT,
we're
people.
all getting older.
To the Ran and Tone Show. So, I want to say this. We put up a sign. We put up a pre-show, not a pre-show. We put up to let everybody know what we're going to talk about tonight, and it's about order. So we want to start off with our order by talking about domestic terrorism.
Now what order is that?
Well, according to what I read, they really don't have a name or like a federal law for domestic terrorism. So basically, they weren't. The way I look at it, when they wrote the Constitution or when they wrote the federal laws or however, they didn't write it with the fact of having their own kind govern against, stepping out against them. That's the way I look at it.
Governing against itself?
Right.
So, I'm trying to get this correct. Is it a law? Is it not a law? Is there a law? Is there not a law?
Right now, the best thing I can tell you that it's some form of criminal act. I can't tell you that if it's a federal law because I don't really think the federal government have a law like what is the domestic terrorism. I don't think they're just prepared for that.
Okay, has there been domestic terrorism before?
Oh man.
So how was it carried out? How was it?
I mean, you have the FBI who does investigate. They do. They basically do, but I understand what you're asking me. You're asking me when you have domestic terrorism, what law enforcement takes lead on that?
No, I'm asking you what was the punishment? How did they, because you said they have no law on it.
Well, a crime is a crime, so I guess you figure when you have somebody who does domestic terrorism, you basically have to go by, I guess you charge them with each individual act. So there's the carrying of the gun if there's a weapon.
Okay, so the normal breakdown of
charges. The normal breakdown of charges. But domestic terrorism itself is not considered a charge.
Okay, so what makes it domestic? That they was born here, that they live here?
Because they're fighting against their own country. That makes it domestic.
Okay.
To me, I guess they figured domestic means home. In that case. But the thing that's so crazy about that, and why I always say this is order, 90% of our domestic terrorism leaders, people who are involved, are ex-military. So my thing is, what is the military doing to have all these people turn against them like this? That's the thing I don't understand a lot. If you go back, okay, let's pull one name out of the hat. That I was reading about while going over this. I read about this young man by the name of Louis Beam. Louis Beam, he was from Texas. If I can remember what I read, he was definitely from the Army, some type of forces. When he came out, he formed, a certain type of a group, terrorism group, against the government. He got involved with the Ku Klux Klan. He got involved with the Aryan Nation. But what I'm saying is all these people who are committing domestic terrorism on these grounds are ex-military. Let's not even get into the color yet. Let's get into the fact that they're just ex-military. You would never think in a million years that your military would turn against you. That's basically what that is. That's basically you training the person you train, you must now eventually might have to kill.
But making them terrorists mean they want to take over or they want to change the way things are? Is that what's making them terrorists?
I guess it depends on
Or just a disagreement of opinions?
which terrorism group you're a part of.
Not me personally.
Because when I was reading about it, I thought the Ku Klux Klan was just all they did was excuse the expression. I thought that all they did was lynch African Americans. I was wrong about that.
So you're saying they also a terrorist?
But they actually were formed not that's part of their, but they actually were formed to form against the government. It was against. That's why you got a lot of government officials involved in it. The reason why I'm stuttering and not giving the whole thing is because I don't want to be misunderstood until we can actually do a story on it. Excuse me. I don't want to be misunderstood. That's a sensitive part of our history. To understand certain things, because with this domestic terrorism, I went back as far as the military in the 1800s.
Okay, and you also spoke of domestic terrorism that didn't have a leader.
Yeah,
you was telling me something like that off the air.
It's like a leaderless group, like what happened at the state building or what happened, the Capitol.
Yeah.
They really didn't have a leader. That was just
they're trying to prove that someone was guiding them, or
well, we know that someone always has to organize, but does the person who organizes it, is that necessarily the leader?
Not all the time,
right? And it just dawned on me on how our government downplays domestic terrorism. They really downplay domestic terrorism.
I think that we're gonna be more informed on domestic terrorism as this case goes on with impeachment. Because
of the president?
Yeah. Because as far as I know, this is one of the first cases.
No, I don't want to do that.
Which is well.
Because I'm not against the president. I'm not against nothing that he does. I don't really care what he does. But in this case...
From here on, you're saying?
No, I'm saying that because... Okay, let's look. Here we go. Domestic terrorism or homegrown terrorism. Same thing, homegrown terrorism. Is a form of terrorism in which victims within the country are targeted by the perpetrator with the same citizenship as the victim. So I guess, yes, what you asked me earlier, that is what it is. There are many definitions of terrorism, and none of them are universally accepted. The United States Department of State defined terrorism in 2003 as premeditated. You see what I mean?
And going against the government.
No, it just says
it's not going against the government.
It didn't say going against the government. It just said it was premeditated, politically motivated violence.
Politically motivated.
Politically motivated, but that doesn't mean it has to go against the government.
If it's motivated through political actions, that's who it's directed at.
Well,
just like they went to the Capitol.
But you have low politicians too that are not in the White House or on the Capitol, who don't really.
But that's still part of government.
Okay, you're right. You're right. So they're politically motivated with violence perpetrated against non-combatant. I don't know what that means. Excuse me. Non-combatant targets by substantial groups of clandestine. I don't know what that means. Clandestine? I don't know what that means.
You're trying to say non-violent.
Okay. All right. Now here's the part that got me. There is no federal criminal offense designated as domestic terrorism. So you asked me to define, how do they define it? And they're telling you there is no federal criminal offense designated as domestic terrorism.
So I guess that word is just a slang.
Well, it says, as we read earlier, it says that the United States Department defined terrorism in 2003 as premeditated. But here's the thing that makes that funny. It says define terrorism, but it didn't say define domestic terrorism. So here's the thing that really baffled me too about that.
Well, if it's domestic, you already know that, so it's just still terrorism.
Well, I guess it can be. I guess it can be. It says homegrown terrorism, domestic terrorism, is not new to the world. Security analysts have argued that after the end of the world, after the Cold War, military conflicts have increasingly involved violent non-state actors carrying out asymmetric, I don't know what that means, asymmetric warfare, of which terror attacks are part of. The United States has uncovered a number of alleged terrorist plots that have successfully suppressed through domestic intelligence and law enforcement. But they don't tell you which law enforcement. So 90% of the time, I guess the FBI takes over the domestic terrorism. But the point I'm just reading that, and I bring that up, is because about the order that we have. You know, right now, the government is showing its weak side. It's really, really showing its weak side.
You mean after the election?
After, before, during, this whole time. This whole time. And we have to come back to the same thing and over, and I know people are getting tired of hearing it because the situation would be different if it was minorities. And I know you don't want to keep saying that. People keep saying, oh, you don't want to keep saying the same thing over and over and over and over and over and over. But you have to read what history is telling you. History is telling you that it's all right to be white and suppress your government. It's telling you that. It's showing you basically it is all right to be white and suppress your government.
So do you think our new president is on a rebuild?
Before he can think about rebuild, he has to get control of the country again.
Right.
He has to.
That's in the process of rebuild.
It's no. Rebuild is different.
Well, you got to break up the soil and build a foundation before you can build anything.
You got to get to the soil first. You have to get to the soil first.
Which way is but up?
You have to get to the soil first.
Okay.
And he's not going to be the one to do it anyway. I think it's going to be the vice president. I don't think he's going to be around long enough to do a lot of things he said. God forgive me, I said it. We all have our ways. I'm not saying that somebody's going to take him out. I mean, he's not in the greatest of health. He's a very intelligent man. But I think she's going to make that path her way, her greatness. She's very smart, intelligent. And I'm not saying it because she's black. I'm saying it because it's about time we had a woman sit in the seat. You know, it's just about time. I think we need that diversity amongst our people right now. And I'm not talking about people of skin color. I'm talking about human beings. I think we need somebody to help us regain our compassion through this country. We lost that. We are so much wrapped up in what's going on. We are fighting each other. We're trying to hurt each other. We out there giving out chemical warfares by little defined means. This is crazy.
You believe compassion is going to work?
Right now, I believe we already in a domestic warfare.
No, I said you believe compassion is going to work.
And compassion is one of the most purest things that human beings could ever face. Prime example, there was a lady, was it in Harlem, where I read it, Queens? Somebody beat her up coming out of the liquor store. And you see how these people rally behind this lady? This is what I'll be talking about. Like, hey, if we're going to suppress on these police too, you got to suppress these people who are also your own kind who are hurting us too. And I thought it was a beautiful thing.
That's a long track.
It is a long track. But
That's a long track to oppress. Because if you talk about, okay, so you talk about oppress the fiends. Let's just say the addicted. That's out there committing a lot of these crimes, addicted into mental health. So you're going to suppress the addicted. So how you going to suppress the addicted? By going after the dealers that the addicted are getting it from? going after the pharmacies.
The dealers can't deal if there's no one to deal with. The dealers is a whole nother level that you can't deal. You can't
Exactly. That's why I said it's a long track.
You can't deal with the dealers without dealing with the person who's taking the product.
Mm-hmm.
So you got to deal with the person who's suppressing the product right now.
Mm-hmm.
That's the person that you have to deal with. You have to let that person know, look, you got to stop using drugs. If you get that person to stop using drugs, then the drug dealer gets to stop selling his drugs. Or he has to move on into another area.
That's a lot.
It is. I mean, listen. What are you doing with domestic terrorism or homegrown terrorism? It's the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same thing. And they're basically telling us in our face that they really not gonna really deal with that. And these guys are militia groups, man. These people carry guns. I mean,
They go to training,
but my thing is, what is different between?
and then they train their kids the same way, and train their kids the same beliefs.
So then, why come down so hard on the Black Panthers?
It's not what they want.
Because they were the color of their skin.
It's always been.
At the time that the Black Panthers were having their revolution, don't you think there was somebody else doing the same thing to the government of Caucasian nature? I got to look that up at that time. It had to be
What are you saying?
the clans and all of that too.
Doing what to the government?
Don't know. I don't know exactly what they were doing. You know, the government been suppressed for a long time.
Well, the ruckus only start between them when the money started going funny.
Well,
That's when dividends. That's when divide, as in separate, come along.
separate, as in divide.
When somebody feel they ain't getting enough of the pie.
People don't remember that. Separate as in divide. Separate as in divide. Yeah. Let's take a station identification. We'll be back right after this. Living Room TRT, the Red and Tone Show. Whoa, what is that? Wait a minute. Wait a minute. The Red and Tone Show.
He got a bleeping blunder.
Yeah, we'll be back right after this.
Yes,
y'all.
we will.
Yes, indeed, and we're back off our break. How you did? Yeah, that's how you did.
Yeah, part of the breaking news today. Governor Cuomo that's trying to be shot down for making, how they say it, a bad count.
Governor Cuomo.
Not really on the funny side, but stating that his count as far as the I'm about to say homeless. I'm sorry. The nursing home deaths was probably possibly off by 50%.
As far as the COVID.
As far as the COVID, yes.
So basically, they saying somebody lied.
That's more than a lie. That's no.
I could see why.
They said almost like close to 50%.
I could see why.
You can see why. Why what?
Mm-hmm. That they lied? I mean, hey, you asked. I'm just telling you.
Well, a lot of people
See, you're upset about that.
No.
Okay.
I'm upset because
Okay, go ahead.
I was starting to appreciate someone trying to keep us in the light as much as he could.
Okay.
Maybe be real with us
Go ahead.
on things like that. We already know we suffered deaths,
Right.
but to not put the numbers where it's supposed to be.
So you're mad because he was off by a couple of thousand?
No, it's not saying if it was done purposely, I would be upset. Not that he was off.
I can understand.
But I don't know how that's on him. I'm just stating
how that's on who?
On him, on Cuomo, that the numbers was wrong. However they came in, maybe he was given wrong numbers.
Well, his people's, but that's what I'm saying. His people should have made sure that they were sufficient.
Okay, but we have to wait for the investigation on that.
Okay, well, maybe he.
That was just hypothetically.
First of all, I don't think there's ever going to be an accurate count because you don't never know who had it.
Why? No.
I know what you're saying.
Wait. When it's coming to nursing homes,
right?
There's got to be an accurate count. You got an accurate account of how many people stay there. So how you don't have an accurate account?
My thing is that the number of people who were in the nursing home that passed,
right?
It was a sufficient amount,
right?
And they're trying to tell them, you know what, the amount that you gave. Okay, let's say they gave them 10,000, which the original amount was 20,000. But how can they say that if they don't know if the people died from COVID? You have to remember this.
I understand that also, that everybody that did, there was a time when people was going to pass anyway, regardless to what their symptoms was. No, I'm just stating this, not saying that you totally agree with what I'm saying. But that is something that we know, that people do pass away in nursing homes, but nothing like what's been happening.
Let's just
I understand, wait a minute, I understand that they put in a lot of the cases and maybe normal deaths.
Right.
Or maybe COVID speeded the process up for a lot of people.
But what I'm trying to say is that at this time, you really couldn't take an accurate count of the nursing home until let's say February.
I don't see why there should be a problem with the count.
Okay,
That's the part. Okay, go ahead. Let me go ahead.
Yeah. If you, when did the count start?
I don't know.
When did we officially know that this country was under COVID and the death was taking its toll? That's February?
February into March.
February into March. So you have to think about that. COVID might have been here between November and January already. Before
yeah.
Okay, so now what I'm trying to say, in that time, people who were in the nursing home were already probably dying of the same related causes, but not known that it was a virus. You didn't know it was a virus until after January, because that's when everything shut down.
So wait a minute.
Go ahead.
If it's the virus have very distinctive traits that you can tell it was that.
Right. And
that would differ from what the patient had prior.
Okay, so and if that was the case, what if it was called the normal flu? The patient died of flu-like symptoms.
So
that's what they're telling.
I'm sure that there's a study based on the similarities in the symptoms.
No, what I'm saying to you at this point is, if the symptoms weren't diagnosed between November and January, and people from homes were already, because remember, they started dying right after Thanksgiving, because I remember them started reporting it with the news. They didn't know.
China.
No.
You talking about here?
Yes,
Go ahead.
they were passing little by little in the nursing homes.
Okay.
And what happened was people didn't know what it was until the outbreak came in China, until the doctor, whoever that doctor was, leaked it. By then, that thing was already all over the world.
I don't know.
It was already all over the world.
I don't know. I'm gonna go back into what I looked into prior as far as when it, because I think in China, wasn't it in September, October when it hit China, or October, November it hit China?
And from what they understand, it started in China, but I don't believe so. But
okay, and
I
can't think of the name of the
We'll
country.
say September, October. They try to say they got it from eating wild animals.
A bat.
No,
like
not the bat. The
bat?
aardvark or some shit like that.
Oh, I thought it was the bat.
No,
I thought it was some wild bat,
something crazy.
Wherever, and then there's also supposed to have been something in a lab. Like they got the disease in a lab, then something happened in the lab, and anyway. We got to find somebody that was there
We got to find somebody that was there.
to come on the Ray and Tone show.
Come on the show and tell us what you know.
Living room CRT.
Come on the show.
No.
And
Skype.
tell us
Skype
what
on the show.
you know. Well, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Connect 4, whatever you need to do. But I believe that this stuff was already here during mid-October. Because you have to look at people who died of complicated deaths already. It was happening.
That's statistics that you would have to check. I don't know.
Look at your hospital. Look at where you work at and check it.
We didn't have that there. We didn't start getting all of that until, like I said, late January.
See what I'm
Anything similar to the symptoms.
Okay. See, here's the thing. Like I tell a lot of people, people walk around and didn't know they had it. They try to tell people you only can have it when they first bring it on the air. No, this thing was already here. People were already dying of flu-like symptoms prior to this. They just didn't know what it was.
Okay.
I
said, I guess, got to check the numbers.
They realized that they could not cure it with a flu-like symptoms. When the doctor leaked the information, when the doctor, whoever from China, leaked the information, that's when everybody started to realize shit was happening. But if you go prior to that, if you really go look on your YouTube, it'll tell you when people started dying of flu-like symptoms already that were related to COVID, because they can tell you now what it was because they couldn't tell you then. That's what I'm trying to explain. That thing might have been here a year prior to it taking a full effect like it did now.
A year? Nah, I don't think it would have lasted that long.
Shit.
I don't think we would have lasted
Let me tell somebody something. One thing
Tell somebody something.
People do not read their history and do not understand about when they had the Mexican flu.
Mexican flu.
When they had the Mexican flu, that thing took out over 50 million people in the United States alone.
I don't remember that.
1932.
Oh, that's why I don't remember that.
Yep. See, that's because I do my research.
Okay.
I'm about to pull it up again.
You need to pull up when this COVID started.
You're not gonna know that.
But you gonna pull up when the Mexican flu started?
Because this is history. It already complies. It doesn't tell you when it started.
This is now. We can't get the date right.
Then look it up. If you think you know the answer,
I didn't say that.
No, look it up. I'm looking up what I'm gonna look up.
What you said.
You look it up. I'm telling you that.
No.
You telling somebody it's flu-like symptoms.
No, I'm telling you that you telling me you can look up something from 1913, but we can't even look up something from last year.
But you looking up on your phone and you haven't done it yet. You still trying to argue about what you need to do.
No, I'm arguing about what you talking about. You gonna do.
I'm looking up something to prove a point I was talking about. You look up the COVID. Oh, next I call it the Mexican flu.
I know. I don't know what you're talking about.
Spanish flu. Excuse me. So it was the Spanish. Excuse me. Let me get mine out.
Apologize to the Mexicans.
I apologize. Wrong word. The Spanish flu, also known in the 1918 flu pandemic, was an unusual deadly influenza pandemic caused by H1N1 influenza, a virus lasting from February. Hold on. Why can't I click on my joint? Oh, they don't let me talk about it. Here it goes. It lasted, look at this. It lasted from February 1918 to April 1920. It affected 500 million people. 500 million people. What you did? You got the Liberty Mutual on the thing. About a third. Listen, let me finish this. This is important. Please let me finish this. This flu lasted from 1918 to 1920, from February to April. It infected 500 people, about a third of the world's population at the time, in four successive waves. The death toll is typically estimated to have been somewhere between 20 million and 50 million, although estimated range from a conservative 17 million to a possible high 100 million. See what I'm trying to tell you?
Now you're saying that's the Spanish flu.
That's the Spanish flu. And they still can't give you accurate. You cannot, because you can't pinpoint. They tell you it started for February. You know why? Because they can only tell you when the first person died related to that virus.
I understand that.
Okay,
But
so
that's not
prior
what I
to
was asking. What I was asking, did they ever find any a vaccine for that?
no, there's no vaccine. They don't really got a vaccine for what we got. They just gave you a stronger
We're
dose.
not talking about that right now. You
Okay,
went to the
man.
Spanish flu that you thought was Mexican.
Okay. This guy, he won't look
Thank
it up,
you.
but he's gonna ask me the question.
No, you got it open on your phone. I'm asking you what you're talking about, man.
Over several possible expenses for the mortality rate of 19 for this trend, including a several 6-year element normally after the migration disease. But no, they never did. What are the triggers of no. They never found anything. They never found a cure. They just let it ride out.
They just let it ride out.
That's what, well, you're talking about 1930.
So that, right.
You're talking about 1918.
Okay.
There was probably no medicine around at that time like
You're
that.
right. Okay.
So you're talking about 500 million people affected. Close to 50 million people have died. An estimated 50. So they're rounding it off from 17 to 100 million estimated deaths.
So your point for was bringing that to us is
to say that during this outbreak of the COVID, let me get to the COVID-19. Let me get to that. When did COVID-19 start? During this outbreak, you don't know when COVID-19 actually hit our country because they couldn't recognize the case. How can you tell somebody when something started if you didn't recognize the case and people were dying prior to that to you recognizing it? You can't give an estimate.
that's what they do. So you telling the estimate people they can't give estimates.
They're giving you an estimate from the time they. It's hard to explain anything to you.
No, it ain't. You telling me they can't give estimates.
Let me see. When did COVID-19 start? Look at this. There were no results matching the question. They can't tell you. And the reason why they can't tell you because they can't tell you when it started because people were dying in October. I read that with that same type of influenza that they are recognizing now, that they started recognizing in February what it was. So they can't estimate. You already had people, maybe about 10,000 people die prior to that stuff being nationally televised, man. Prior to that.
11 million people.
Prior to that?
As they race to stop the spread. This was in Wuhan.
I'm telling you, this stuff is deadly, man. This stuff is deadly.
Listen, the problem is that our kids don't understand. Our kids don't understand how easy it is. And some people are learning the hard way. When your kids done been out there partying or whatever, just being kids, and then come home and bring it to their grandmother or their mother, their grandmother, grandfather, their uncle.
That's what it is. That's what it is.
Because they believe in it's not going to hurt them. But they can catch it and give it to their loved ones. That's what they got to understand about when they run around with their friends. And not knowing their friends' background, where their friends been. So you've been with 3 friends from 3 different directions, and y'all all come together, and whatever each one of y'all got, take home with each other. What you got for us, bro?
Okay, so now I looked up went to another resource, and it says it was initially reported to the WHO. I don't know who that is. On December 31st.
That's who.
It was initially it was initially reported to the, I don't know who is.
Oh, that's the World Health Organization.
Okay, December 31st, 2019. What did I say? It was officially reported in December. Okay. On January 3rd, the WHO declared the COVID outbreak a global health emergency.
No, so it was before that, when the first case. That's when they declared it.
You're not listening to what it said.
Let's say it again.
What I'm telling you, when they realized that these people were dying already in October, that's when they recognized they had a problem in December.
And they declared it.
They declared it in January. because they found out what it was. They had to take time to research, get all my stuff together, find out what it is, and all of that. They had to find out. That's what they had to do.
That's what they.
So that means that stuff been here prior. I say that thing had to be here at least 4 months to the outbreak.
They tracked it. They're trying to say they tracked it.
They couldn't have tracked it because I don't think it started in China.
Okay.
I think it started here. Stuff like this,
There was another place. What is it? Italy? What was the other place that they said it came from? Was it Italy? I think it was Italy.
To me, I believe it came. Cause you know what? Let me just tell you, as a person who played on a farm as a little boy.
Oh shoot! Here we go.
There are tendencies as a person who owns a farm. You tendency to have a lot of things go wrong because you're dealing with all kind of animals, species. You're stepping in it, you're stepping out of it. You're tracking it to your home. You're tracking it. You never know what you're doing. You don't. Anything is that type of influenza is normally found in the handling of, I want to say, pigs, goats, and something else because of the parasite that they carry. So I have to believe that someone here had that outbreak and it started here and spread it there. Because it wasn't reported in China first. I'm telling you, you're asking me. It wasn't reported in China first. It was reported here first. People just weren't paying attention.
I don't know how you figure that.
I know, because I did my research.
It was in Italy and in China before it was here.
Who says that? Because that's what the news reported? I'm telling you, no. You have to look at the type of influence.
Okay, I'm going to look it up. Do my studies, but that's what they said before it got here.
I just said that. Who said that? The news? You said no.
I didn't say no.
Who's
you
they?
kept talking.
Who's they?
The news.
Right.
That's where I got it from.
If I'm a person who's reporting the news, I'm going to tell you something that's not going to develop into an outbreak. That's my job. I have to tell you the truth.
So they're reporting deaths of a virus somewhere else.
Because they didn't know what it was.
They did know what it was when they reported that.
You have to understand what I'm telling you, that the person who probably started it all probably didn't know they started it. But I don't think it started in China.
Okay.
I don't think it started in China. If that was the case, you would have more of these outbreaks going through quite often. These are large cities we're talking about. These are very, very large cities. Like, people... Okay, let's just say this. How often do you know people in your office building get sick?
All the time.
Why?
Because they do.
Everybody touches after everybody else.
Everybody is in different environments when they get
right.
And when
people
they
get sick at different times. So you could, in the job, you can have a small influenza floating through the job and not know it. People get it affects people with stomach aches. Some people get hay fever. Some people have the sinus problems. Some people get headaches.
That's why they say wash your hands.
No, that's not what I'm trying to get at. What I'm trying to let you know that there are all type of viruses in the air all the time. But when you have something like this is more than a virus. And I keep telling people that a virus doesn't move this fast. They call it influenza because they don't know any other name to call it. This is what you call, if God forbid if they let you know this is an air-breathing parasite. They don't want you to know that. They don't want you to know that because that's something that they can't control. You can't control a parasite. A parasite has to move from host to host until it dies. It has to wear itself out. Right now, this doesn't look. You got people taking the shots and still dying, man. You got people who dying after they take the shot. So how can this? How can this be?
I wanted to look into that too.
Yeah. So how can this be?
I got a question about that.
How can this be? And then you telling people to take that shot? Like, you got to think about that shit, man. Come on. It's real talk right now. You got to really think about that.
What was
You don't want to sit there and tell people, a group of people, listen, if you take this, if you take this shot, you're gonna be fine. But yet you got the people who give the shot, take the shot, who are dying.
How many people died since they took the shot?
All I know about is 2 so far. If there's more, I didn't read about it.
One was where? And
I don't know anything about where, how, who, or what.
Oh.
All I know was 2 of them.
And where'd you get that from?
Here we go. Same place you getting it from.
Okay, then that's all I'm asking.
The news.
Okay.
All you have to do is put in 2 died from flu shot.
No, that's all. I just asked you the
I'm
question.
gonna look it up. I'm gonna give you
Not
information.
for that. Just like you asked me, where did you get it from? The news.
I'm gonna find out right now.
There you go.
If Skippy wasn't wearing.
He wouldn't have to skip.
All right now. What I was about to ask?
I don't know. 2 people died of flu shot.
2 people died of flu shot. 2 people.
That's okay. I'm gonna look up some.
Die.
What's the name of that stuff?
Flu shot. But then again, there's so many flu shots. What flu shot did they take?
See.
That's the shit that I want to know.
That's the information you need to know.
Mm-hmm.
That what's the name of the joint?
Mm-hmm.
Pfizer.
What?
Not Pfizer.
See? Here's what I'm trying to tell you. Look. See, they had a big outbreak in California. Listen. Doctor delivers blunt message about a record 80,000 flu deaths. See, this stuff has already been here. Flu killed 80,000 people that past season and put 900,000 into the hospital, making it the worst influenza season in decades. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention said Thursday. Now, this is going back to September 2018.
Okay.
This is already 80,000 people now. I'm trying to tell you that this started here and somebody took it over there.
So who said they saying that's not the same strand, correct?
It says it's an influenza. If you're going to call this one an influenza, they're all influenza. Okay. There's level of influenzas, right? Mm-hmm. And this might be the worst kind of the one that they just passed. But in 2018, 80,000 people died from it. And 900,000.
So check to see how many people die from the regular flu anyway every year before all of this.
I just told you in 2018.
Okay, so what was 2017?
I just tell you, listen, wait. You told me.
Mm-hmm. I told you what?
You asked me when the outbreak occurred for the COVID-19, right?
Yeah, we've been through that.
And no. Listen, they told you, I reported to you that they knew about it in December of 19, but they didn't make it official until January of 20.
That's what you read. Yes.
Right. And what I'm telling you now is that in California alone, they had 80,000 people die of the same influenza that they did not know what it was.
In 2018.
In 2018.
Okay.
The numbers were shocking until now. CDC said flu kills anywhere between 12,000 and 56,000 people a year, depending on how bad the flu season is.
That's what I was waiting for.
Now, I know that. No, listen. Okay. I know that it does kill. The flu does kill. And that it puts between 250 to 700,000 people in the hospital. What I'm trying to tell you is that the numbers for the 2017-2018 season go far beyond that. That's what I'm trying to tell you. That they had these high numbers like they have now 2-3 years ago. And they said that this was the regular flu. What if that was the same flu? And now they're telling
you said they had 80,000.
It's right here, man. 2018.
You said 80,000.
80,000, man.
I heard you.
80,000 people died, 900 were hospitalized.
Right.
And then they went back and tell you that somewhere between 8,000 and 12,000 people.
And where we at right now?
We in 2020.
No. How many people are we at right now?
We're close to we over 1 million.
Exactly. That's 80,000.
But what I'm trying to tell you is that this flu was here way before China.
Okay. I can't.
You still ain't understanding that because you still want to prove something.
I understand that because I don't know.
It's there. It's telling you.
That's not there. That just told me 80,000 people died of influenza. That's all that's telling me.
Holy cow, man. I guess if it was on the news, then you'd be like, you know
No,
what, big
that
boy,
is the
you're
news
right.
you just read.
But I'm trying to tell you that you're asking me when it began. They knew that this stuff was here prior to that.
Okay.
And I'm starting to understand why Obama put out the disease control thing. He knew it was coming too. He knew it was coming.
But from what I understand, he knew that was coming when he was overseas.
Yeah, but the point is because
Right.
he probably went overseas because it left from over here to go over there, and he wanted to
Probably.
see how fucking bad it was.
Probably though.
He tried to keep it hush.
Probably.
We are the ones who do not handle ourselves very. If you know, if a person could really watch the process of a person who owns a meat poultry factory, it is not a fucking pretty sight. It is not. For these people who cut these heads off, who drain these bloods out of these people go through a lot of shit.
Okay.
So you don't know how many of them walk out of there with any type of disease and take it home. You don't know.
No, I don't, because it's probably. That's probably what they went home with. We don't know.
I didn't say that they.
I didn't say you said anything.
Okay.
I said
Okay.
probably.
You're right. You did. You said
Probably.
probably.
We don't know.
We don't know.
I like to state facts. I don't know.
We
so I
like
can't,
to state the facts.
I don't know. I can't tell you.
Mm-hmm.
You ask me how this, I don't know. All I can do is.
You're very passionate about that. I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, I'm only telling you what was in the news.
Thank you. Now I know what was in the news.
All I'm saying is that this stuff been going on way before that.
It's possible.
People been dying. So if this estimate back then was at this high, we're still at the same level we were in 2018. What is that telling you?
I don't think we're there, because I don't think it was.
You think we're way
like you
beyond
said,
that? Because they
We
said
gotta
that.
be, because look at the people lost.
Well, they said that at this point. Let me tell you what the ending of this
and
says.
it wasn't spreading like it is now.
Okay, yes, it did. What are you?
80,000 people is not a million.
Holy cow, yo! Let me read this
Go
again.
ahead.
Flu killed 80,000 people this past season. We're talking about 2018, and put 90,000 into the hospital.
Yes.
Okay, making it the worst influenza season in decades.
Yes.
The worst.
Yes.
This might be the worst season now.
This is
that
from
just passed.
80,000 to a million. You think?
Yeah, but they was already at 1 million. You're not
They
listening
was
to the
at a
story.
million.
The numbers are shocking until now. CDC said flu kills anywhere between 12,000 and 56,000 people a year. So you get at least 56,000 people a year who die from regular influenza.
Right.
Right. So that already totals in to what? Now, what if that regular influenza? Now it tells you after that. Depending on how bad the flu season is, and that it puts between 250 and 700 into the hospital with serious illness. Then it goes on to say the numbers for the 2017 and 2018 flu season go far beyond that.
That's an estimate.
So they're telling you that at that time they were way over 1 million then.
Far beyond
Far beyond that. So far,
So
they
it's
don't.
just out there.
So far, they don't even want to put the number on the
Exactly.
page.
Could have been
So,
5
It could
beyond that.
5. Come on, man.
We don't know.
I'm telling you, you do know.
Okay, well, how
You
much
know.
is far beyond?
I say they hit at least 2 million.
Just because that's what your estimation
I
of far
say
beyond
they
is?
hit at least 2 million.
That's
Between,
your estimation of far beyond?
yes. But a person puts far beyond that.
So
That
what's
mean-
your estimate on down yonder?
What they telling you is, as far as you can fucking think, that's as far as that shit might have went.
Man, come
Go ahead, man. And this is not for the
but
kids. Sorry for
but it
cursing.
missed them. It went far beyond, but it missed them.
Okay, let me just say this. There
Go
are
ahead.
some places that this COVID-19 right now has knocked out an entire family, and there's some places that it
I've
only
seen that on the news too.
yes, and there's some places that only hit one person in the family.
Yeah, that's
So
true.
you know, it's all about the person's immune system. That's how I look at it. Why would it attack a whole family inside and only attack one person? I don't know. I can't tell
Because
you.
their defenses is down. I can tell you that.
Well, I just said that. It depends on your immune system.
No, I'm
okay.
talking about your defenses as far as
Okay.
how you tried to prevent yourself from getting it. It has to do with the person that brought it to the household, like I was saying before.
Okay, so one person could take
It
down
could
a
have
whole
been,
flock.
yes.
But that's what I'm trying to tell you. So how does a whole household only lose one person?
Don't know.
Me either. You mean to tell me that in that family where everybody passed away, that whole family right there was just weak?
So you gonna tell me that one person that no.
They was weak?
I guess so.
The whole family.
That one person that died, which was probably rare. You said one person got it or one person died?
I said that one person in the family. Okay, so what does a family consist of? 3, 4?
I don't know. 5. You can put whatever number you want.
Want to estimate it? Let's estimate it.
No, I ain't estimate how many people in the family. How many people in your family?
Too much.
Okay, then. So do you want to estimate it?
Yeah.
So what you estimated to be?
And my whole thing is
the what?
My whole thing is that when you get a child sick in the house, in a crowded house, right?
Mm-hmm. There we go.
The child is the first usually to get sick in a crowded house.
If you want to say that.
Who's the?
Anybody gets sick in a crowded house?
That's true.
You could bring it from work.
Okay, let me ask you this. No, that's not. That's too personal.
Oh shit.
No. Because I was gonna ask how often do you get sick in your house, but you don't because y'all don't have a crowded house.
I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say we didn't get sick because we don't have a crowded house.
No. What I'm saying, you have less chances of people
of getting sick because we have less people in the house.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
So when you have a family of a lot of people in the house and only one person gets sick, that's rare. And that has happened in my family where, thank God, nobody has contracted the COVID. And man, but we have been through the stomach aches like a motherfucker. Because I was going, every time.
I thought of something. Usually, Nah.
I
was gonna say usually when you come with stomach ache, somebody done ate something bad.
Yeah, but in this case,
or ate something
in this case, when the house gets sick, that's one of the sickness.
Stomach ache.
It's the stomach ache. It's not the flu-like symptoms.
That's normal.
It's
with kids
and I'm trying to tell you that that's how strong you have to be with your immune system and the things that you do. For that whole family to get wiped out, somebody wasn't doing some shit.
No.
Okay.
So you saying the whole family died?
The whole family died. You said you saw it too on the news.
No, I saw it on the news. I'm going by your story you telling.
Amen.
One person. So that could have. The whole family just got infected. They had it bad.
But I said the whole family immune system was bad.
That don't mean the immune system was bad. What? No.
Okay.
It just took a toll on them. It was a bad virus.
Okay, that's all I'm asking.
Maybe they caught it bad. Maybe they didn't nurse it or whatever. They didn't get help fast enough. It could have been a lot of factors.
They didn't get help fast enough.
Yeah, they probably. Some people don't like to go to the doctor.
I'm definitely one of them.
Some people like to do home remedies.
Man, I could whip up some country shit, man.
Exactly. So you be that person sitting there and had it 3 days, going through sore throat, headache, nausea, all of that, saying, no, I'll be all right. I'm just going to drink some of this and eat some of this and cough this out of me and I'll be good in 2 days.
I'll be all right.
2 days later, they got to call paramedics for you. Now you 5 days in, and when you could have used some oxygen or something or some IV fluids.
Well, you could use some shit.
Yeah, you can use some shit.
Let's get out of here, man. It was a good show. I enjoy working out with you, man. But you been check on your influenza, man.
I ain't
check on your influenza so you can know your dates.
Wear my mask.
Okay. I'm just telling you that. They telling you that in 2017-18, we had almost many people down.
I got a pulse oximeter to check my oxygen levels.
That must be for people who know what that is. What is a pulse oximeter?
Pulse oximeter.
Pulse oximeter?
Pulse oximeter.
Oh, pulse?
It measures the oxygen.
Oh, in the air?
In your body.
Oh.
If it go too low, you need to get yourself to the hospital. I mean, you got COVID.
Go what?
Yeah.
For real?
Yeah, I got one downstairs. There's a thing they put on your finger. Just read your
So what if you hard cough? Because I cough sometimes.
I can't tell you what your cough means. Unless you cough that up in a cup and take it to the lab.
Watch yourself, man. That's some shit there.
It depends.
I done cursed all night tonight. This show is not for the children. If you got children, put them to bed before you listen to it, man. Pre-recorded, done, over. This has been the Rand and Tone Show, coming to you live from Living Room TRT.
I thank you for accepting what we decide to share.
Amen. That was nice, Tone. I thank you for accepting what we decided to share.
Because if you didn't really like it, I really don't effing care.
Watch yourself, man. Let's get out of here. Listen, make sure you subscribe to us on YouTube. Hit that like button. Make sure you friend request us on Facebook.
Gonna get better, folks.
Hit that request button.
We're gonna soon go back to every week.
Soon go back.
Starting to love this thing again. Gonna take my time. I'm gonna get it right, people. Let's get it right together. Peace and love always.
Amen. Till we meet again, people, you enjoy yourself. Wash your hands, wear your mask. 6 feet apart, 6 feet apart. Unless you having relations. Watch yourself. This Big Ran, Tony Tone. See y'all Thursday.